Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to my Flamenx Flight Sim videos. One pilot gathering his way around the world, one flight at a time. We're sat here at Christchurch, down in New Zealand, in the 717. We're on the runway, and the reason for that is kind of just to try and save a little bit of time. And I'm going to... I don't want to call it a tutorial, because I'm not going to do it as the manual says, but essentially we're going to go for a circuit. I'm going to show you how to start it up. I'll program the FMC just so you can watch. Take the aircraft off, take it around for a loop, and bring it back into land. So first thing I'll do, set the parking brake on, then goes the battery, and then you can either go for the GPU or the APU. Because I'm on the runway, I'm just going to go for the auxiliary power unit. So the rear right fuel pump goes on, the start pump goes on, the APU start goes there. And then you wait. You can tell you've got power because you've got the align there on the standby instruments. And you've got a couple of little lights up here that show you have some power. It's just a question then of waiting. If we pop outside, you should be able to actually hear that. Hear the APU coming to life. So you're basically waiting for this light here to illuminate. Once that illuminates, you can pop that button there. The aircraft has now got power. So it's going to go through some of its self-tests. First thing I'm going to do is put the nav lights on over there. And the ground lights. And let's put the logo light on for fun. Right, so we're going to line the IRS. So it's a right click on both of those. That's going to bring those alive. Put the MCDU, FMC, to life. So go in, flight plan initiation. I'm going from NZCH. I'm going to NZCH. There's no company flight plan, which we expect. Going back. And we want to initialize the IRS. Our cruise level today, it's only a circuit, so we'll say 3,000 feet. And our cost index is 35. That's what's in the manual. The IRS could take up to 35. Stick shaker going off. Could take up to 10 minutes to align. So I will slow down somewhat just so we don't have to sit around waiting forever. So next page. What I haven't done yet is loaded the aircraft. So you go to the TFDi application that's on your desktop, and I'm just sending the payload and the fuel to the sim. Now I've filled the aircraft up. What we got? We've got 1,800 of cargo in the front, 134 passengers, which is max, and 929 in the rear. And I've filled the left and the right tanks up, but the center tank is empty. So the fuel on board is 8.5, and you'll need to open up your iPad down here if it isn't already. Status. My zero fuel weight today is 40 tons. So 40.0 goes into your zero fuel weight. Gives us a takeoff gross weight of 48.3 tons, and our center of gravity is 19.9, and that goes in the next one down. 19.9. There we are. Your next page, if you was using ballast fuel, you could use that. Now I've got a yellow illuminate here. It says emergency power switch off. Now if I put that to arm, that's going to come on, and we might have to come back and look at that in a little while. So let's look at the flight plan. I've let the sim start up on the active runway for the weather. The weather, by the way, today, you can see it before I can. I lost it. Where is it? There it is. It's 11:30Z, so it's probably about an hour old now. 360 at 6 knots, and you can see it is moving around a little bit from the north. All the nines, which means visibility is greater than 10 kilometers or more. NCD, no cloud. Temperature is 19 dew point is 8, and the QNH is 0, 9, and 9 and 9 up with no significant weather. Wonderful stuff. So, we should, in theory, be on runway 2, which we are. Oh, good. I like it when that happens. So, hang on. Let me slow down a little. So what I've done is I've gone flight plan. As you can see, we're going from Christchurch to Christchurch. So you click on the left button there for your from. You take your SID. I've started to, whether right or not, I don't know, select my runway before I select my SID on my star, because sometimes the runways seem to disappear. Whether that's a bug or whether that's something completely different than the way it's supposed to, I don't know, but this is just the way I am doing it. So I want runway 2. I'm going to take an up to 2 pupper without a transition and then insert that. That's going to pop that in. And then I'm going to use this up arrow here for my arrival. Star, I want the I02, and I haven't been taking a star on that either. So the only thing I am going to do when you look at the charts, let's just transition over to the charts and zoom out. I'm going to put chart in, CHARR, rather than coming down here and keeping it tight. Come out to chart, and then it kind of just eases us in a bit better anyway. So CHARR needs to go in to the flight plan, and the way we would do that is CHARR. Do I want the one that's south 43 or north 45? Well, we know we're in New Zealand, so we're south of the equator, so we're going to take the top one. Char, and then I'm going to clear the discontinuality. And that should be our arrival route. Now, one thing I have noticed, again, it could just be here. I don't know, but I'm going to go to the Navrad page. And although it's got 1099 in for the ILS, there's no course. So I'm just going to go /16 for the runway heading. And then just to make sure, really. Right, okay, so the flight plan's in. One thing I've also noticed is there's no speed for Nubka. There is no speed in. So I'm just going to pop that into 210 / I think you actually have to put the altitude in as well. So that just keeps that now. And also, for whatever reason, this one is too slow and this one is too fast given the altitudes. So I'm going to put that one at 210 / let's try and do it without a hard limit. It doesn't let you do it. You've got to put the altitude in. So 210 / 123 and 250 / 23. It might just be because we're so local and not using the full SID or star. I'm not sure why it's offering me a climb there, but never mind. Very strange. There we go. Right, so at least that's in and done. So the next thing for us to do, really, with the MCDU is the takeoff page. So I'm going to flex to 30 today for no reason other than 30 seems like a nice round number. We want to slope and winds. I have been, because I'm lazy, just 0/0, giving it something in. It said temperature today was 19 and it's Celsius. So 19 C goes in the outside temperature. And then we want a flap 13 departure, which is standard, which gives us our V speeds. 124, 131, 140. So I'm going to pop 160 in here. And this FMC speed I'm not so sure about. I'm having to do some funky things with it to keep it doing what I want it to do, not what it wants to do. But we'll get there. The heading, we're going to set that up at 16. And the altitude at 3,000 feet. So we are just waiting for the IRS to align. And as you can see down here, IRS in align. It shouldn't take too long now. So while we're waiting for that, what we're going to do, because the next thing literally we're going to do is put the switch the engines on. So we'll put the fuel pumps on. That one's already on. We'll put the standby hydraulics on, and we'll put the window. Is it the window? I know it's that switch. It is the windshield anti-ice. I'll pop that on as well. I think that pretty much covers it before start checklist. Start pump on. Oh, you also need to make sure you've got the APU air on. And I've been putting the isolation into open. So now the hydraulics on, we could probably 4.4 on the stab trim. Set the stab trim. So it should, at the moment you see it's yellow, and now it goes green. So you can see the aircraft's in trim. 4.4, 4.4. Just literally a question of waiting. What does the MISC say? It says terrain foul. Okay, I'm not worried about that at this stage. And the air, we've turned all those off, which you know about anyway. So it really is a fun little aircraft to fly. Got some great character, refreshing. I've quite enjoyed it, really. And there we go. So this is all come alive now. So you can see our route. Oh, it's going increase actually. So it's literally, we've drawn a sock. That's literally what we're going for today. We're going to do a sock. So, and as you can see down here, it says 2992, but we're in hectopascals. So that button there, and then 09er, 9er, 9er. Done. Time to start the engines. Okay, so we know the fuel pumps are on. We know the hydraulics are on. We know that the air is set. We're going to pop the beacon on, let everyone know the aircraft is now live, and pull out that second engine start. And hopefully, the N2 engine starts. The N2 fan starts to turn. And if it does, then you know you're good. If it doesn't, you know you've not got a switch in the right place. Pop the fuel in. And she takes a little while to start up. So now you can see that the temperature rises. I'm waiting for the fuel to go in. Should go in any second now. And the M1 blade starts to turn. And then start a cutout. And we'll wait for it to stabilize. Somewhere around about 20%. And then we'll pop out number 1. Oh. And so I think this gets to 670, and then once that gets to 670, the N2 fan then speeds up a little bit more. And then at about 31, the fuel starts kicking in. And then start a cut at about 10. That's good. It's 2 good starts. So just gonna wait for that to it's come up high enough. So generator 1 on, generator 2 on, APU generator to off, leaving the APU switched on. Start pump off, packs on, bleeds on, isolation valve to auto. Obviously you then do your taxi stuff and your seat belts. Well, they should be on already, but I'm just going to pop all the landing lights on now. High intensity to on, and that's the aircraft pretty much ready to go. Only other thing you need to do is your flaps, so 2 clicks down to 13. You need to arm these, and I only found this out today. If you hold the mouse about here and right click, it goes into armed mode. I'm going to hit the nav button, and that will show nav armed. I'm going to hit the profile button, that will show profile armed, and that is us. We've got a generator APU off. That's okay because we know about that. Okay, well, we can leave that on if that's what it wants. There you go. So down here it tells you, it gives you little ideas of maybe what you should be thinking about, and it just says brakes because obviously my brakes are on, so we'll take them off. And then we've got a green box. So happy days. Let's go flying. So I'm going to advance the throttles. Not all the way forward, but quite a bit. Wait for them to catch up and spool. I'm not quite sure where they need to go to. And then once that happens, hit the auto flight button. And then, as you can hear, the auto throttle takes hold of the throttles and puts them to your takeoff flex point. Here comes V1. Here comes V rotate. And up we go. Positive rate, hit the gear key because my doesn't work on my yoke.
Altitude.
So in theory, at 1,500 feet or somewhere around about there, we should get the climb thruster engaged, but it doesn't. So I'll hit the auto flight and let the autopilot take control. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to speed the aircraft up manually. So as you can see, manual control for white, and you pull it out to tell it that's what I want. And purple means the aircraft. Aircraft manager, excuse me, the aircraft computer has control over it. I'm going to pull the flaps up, as I think the FR down there is flap retraction, but as you can see it's so close to that 160 there was no point. So I'm actually going to take it above the slap retraction speed.
Stabilizer motion.
Pop that out as well. Slaps up.
Stabilizer motion.
Slats up. I think I said slaps, sorry. I'm going to do is tell this I actually want 3,000 feet at the next waypoint.
Altitude.
So the little pink circle here, I believe, is the FMS speed and where it thinks it should be. So in theory, if I hit if FMS speed, it's gone to 208. So let's see what happens. Obviously the speed's going to drop to 208, but what I want to know is when we get to go bat, is it going to command 250 and off we go? I'd like to think so.
Stabilizer motion.
So I'm leaving the APU on, considering we're going to land in a minute, but I'm going to turn the hydraulic pumps off because that's something you do in your after takeoff checklist. And there we are. So hopefully any second now we should see this jump to 250 and the aircraft will speed up. And it didn't. Boo. Unless I see what it's saying. Let's try this then. It could be because I've programmed it for 210, so it thinks 210 is a fair point. Oh, not to worry. We'll just take control ourselves. Just speed the process up a little. Again, as I say, I'm not proficient. I've probably got about 10 hours in this thing now. Maybe not even that. It feels like 10 hours. But it is fun to fly. It's different, you know? The aircraft also doesn't necessarily always like this dog leg. We get to here and it kind of wavers and then starts to turn towards this point instead of char. So we'll probably just take manual control until we're around and put a direct waypoint in or something. Either way, we'll end up on the glide slope. So this pink circle does indicate where it wants to be for this MCDU speed. Be aware of that one. Other things to note, obviously you've got your glide slope and you've got your localizer. There you go. We should go with char, but it's decided no, we don't want to go to char. We want to turn. I don't want to turn too early because I had turned too early and missed capturing the glide slope. So all I did was I pushed using the left mouse button the heading, and that's just going to hold the heading that we're on. And then what we'll do on here, go to the flight plan. In fact, there is a direct, that button there, direct. And we'll just select Albad as our direct twice. And then when you're ready, you can just hit the nav button and it will swing around. So it's looking good to me. So we'll hit the nav, round it goes. And the other thing we'll do is we'll start to slow it down. I think now would be a good time to hit FMS speed. Because you can see it's not moved from its 208. And the other thing you should make sure you do while you're around here is hit the approach land button. So as you can see, landing's been armed.
Stabilizer motion.
Bringing this round to 016, as that's going to be the heading of the localizer. In case we fluff it up and have to go around. So I'm now going to put some slats out. Then flaps 13.
Stabilizer motion.
And at that point you see, once you go flaps 13, the hydraulic pumps reminder comes up. I mean, obviously, when you are flying quite some distance, you'd have, as part of your descent checklist, you'd put them on anyway, and I should have maybe done that, but you get that handy little reminder come up, say, hey. So the speed brake should still be armed, but again, if you wanted to arm it, just right click. So as you can see, the glide slope is
Stabilizer
armed.
motion.
And it's interesting, it's captured it too high, so it started its descent down the glide slope and we're actually not crossed the glide slope line yet. And localizer and glide slope have gone green, and the auto land is armed. So there's an indication here saying landing gears. Obviously, we've not dropped the landing gear just yet. And I'll do that shortly. Well, I kind of was hoping that we would capture the glide slope, but 2,000, like when I'm in the 777, gear down at 2,000 feet. So gear down. And then once the gear's down, we'll go to flaps 18.
Stabilizer motion.
Flaps 18. I'm not sure I'd like letting the MCDU take control of the speed. I think I'd rather be in control of it. In fact, let's just have a quick look at the takeoff approach page. See, it reckons it's actually not switched over, is it? It's not gone to the landing page. I've not seen that before. It's usually on the landing page. But anyway, the idea is you want to keep your speed above this orange bar.
1,000.
So we're going to go for flaps. There's 25. There's 40. You do your landing checklist. Gear down. Flaps 40. Your lights are on. Everything looks good. No cautions. I don't want to auto land though.
Autopilot.
I watched a video the other day of a 747 coming into land, and the weather was proper pants, and it was, you could see the captain, and he was
400.
fighting the stick something chronic, and it's kind of like me on a calm day like today, where I'm just moving the stick everywhere,
300.
and yeah, just made me smile. That was all. So the auto throttle is still on.
Minimums.
We're landing.
Glide slope. Glide slope.
Bit low.
Glide
Never mind.
Slope. Glide slope. Glide slope. Glide slope.
40.
Glide slope.
20.
And then the engine should retard.
5.
Glide slope.
And if they don't, we'll just turn it off and do it ourselves. Here comes touchdown. Speed brakes are up. And then I'm going to F1 and then F2 twice. And then once the nose hits the ground, which is all nice and graceful, the auto throttle, the reversers will unlock themselves and then throttle up. Without me touching the thing, literally it says F1, F2, F2 again. It will do itself. The aircraft will slow down. There's 70 knots. F1 to close the, slow the reversers down. F1 to put them back in their stowed position, and then you can just use the manual braking to finish. And that is a circuit at Christchurch. So flaps up, speed brake in. Just use the right click on that armed area. We'll turn some lights off. And that is pretty much it. Probably should have done that once we left the active. Never mind. I won't tell anyone if you won't tell anyone. So just remember when you're taxiing this at the moment, because the engines are so lively, you only have to put the throttle forward a real small amount, and then it will jump, as you just saw there, to like 50% in one. And the minute it starts to move and jump, just close the throttles again. Because as you can see, now we're taxiing like 25 knots, which is unrealistic, but I'm sure they'll sort that out soon enough. Apart from that, thank you very much. My name's Liam. You've been watching the FlyManx Fly Sim videos. One guy gabbering his way around the world, one flight at a time. I plan to be back out this afternoon to get out of Christchurch, probably go up to Wellington in the 737, which should be good fun because I enjoy flying that plane. So, yeah, probably about, should we say 3 o'clock? Apart from that, thanks very much. My name's Liam. I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.